So it's long overdue that I film a walkthrough with all the 446 pages that made it into my first book. And now I finally found the time to do it. So I tried to do it in a one take actually. And yeah, and I tried to keep it as authentic as possible. So let's not waste too much time talking and get straight into it. So we're looking at the 10 out of 10 version. It's a special version that I released like 1 year after the first cover, which you can see right here. This is the cover that most people know, I guess. But I wanted to change it because I kind of felt tired about the old design. So I came up with something new. We basically got my graffiti tag here and the title of the book, which is The Starry Sky of Inspiration, London Secrets. This is the general name of my books. So this is the first London Secrets, you know. And I'm currently working on the second one. So this is the series that I'm gonna build in the future. And here's the version's name, which is 10 out of 10. In the back, we got a small teaser, what is inside of the book. The title, again, written by Jan Busse, that is me at the London. And here, I really like this phrase. It says, no mentor, no publisher, no investor, no team, no buyer, pure dedication and passion for the craft, which is very important to me because, you know, as it says, I didn't get any support of external factors, you know. So that's it from the outside. So let's dive into the first page. I'm gonna skip easy pages like this, so we move on quicker. In the beginning, I have like a small disclaimer of the photos I used, mostly purchased, artist approved, or selected in a fair use mindset. But yeah, I will do an extra video on that because it's actually a thing that I get asked a lot. We got the cover here. It's the member edition written by me. And now this is the first interesting page, I believe. So we got the date where I started thinking and basically writing the book back in 2024. It's almost exactly 2 years ago because right now we got the 25th of May. Title page. And now this is the first story that is happening inside my book. I have 111 stories in total throughout the whole book because I didn't want it to write one continuous story that lingers through the whole book. Instead, I wanted to have small chunks of stories so it's easier to read, especially nowadays for our generation. Yeah, small stories are the better approach in my opinion. I'm not gonna explain it, you have to read it by yourself. But this actually is a page that I can explain very easily. So this is basically the whole frame of the book, the metaphoric frame. So I have two symbols beside each other. We got the daily life, which is a symbol for consumption, light pollution, fast content, stars and inspiration. Basically what we are doing is we're living down here, polluting our brain with fast content, which stands for consumption in this example. And because of that consumption, we tend to forget how the stars are looking like because we cannot see them, just because the light pollution, fast content is so heavy, you know. So I state a clear problem at the beginning of the book. It is a disease that makes us feel empty inside, and that's simply fast content, you know. What I'm trying to do is mostly rebuild the relationship that you have with content consumption because I believe it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just used in a wrong way, you know. So before we solve the problem, we have to acknowledge it. So let's look at it. Disturbing fact about your screen time. We got you're wasting your time. I built a graphic down here, which shows how much time you have left if you continue to spend 4 hours a day on your phone, while calculating sleep and the years that you already lived. It's a very scary graphic, actually. In this free time, like, it's about 14 boxes here. There's not even Netflix or computer games calculated in. So, number 2, fast content in relation to Alzheimer's. I mean, it's not proven, but I think it's a very obvious claim that Alzheimer's will occur more often in our generation because we train our brain to forget. Number 3, memories worth keeping can't be stored on the screen. Obviously, experience the thing fully to yourself and not behind the screen filming it. And 4th, the illusion of social connection. I mean, as of right now, I believe the phone can be a social connection or a replacement, but it's not a full replacement, you know. So again, here's the dose. It's all about the dose. But obviously, I don't want to make you feel bad the whole book, so I come up with a solution real quick, which is right here. The solution is called Deep Inspiration. And I'm going to explain to you what it is. So first we have to understand what inspiration is in the first place. 5 scientifically proven facts about inspiration. Now, I believe this is one of the most powerful pages I created because it explains the whole meaning of the book so well. So we get the skyscraper right here, which is divided in 4 different floors. We start at the lobby, which stands for unfiltered consumption. So basically every short form video platform, you don't really have control about what you're seeing. So you're just getting trashed with whatever is the algorithm feeding you. Obviously, a lobby is very hectic, very loud, and you're probably not a person that is in a high position. So let's take the elevator and go 1 floor up. Now we are on the workers' floors, and here we got partially filtered content, such as Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, or maybe even TV. So you actively choose what you want to see, but it's still controlled by algorithms and it's more cheap content, if you know what I mean. Now, we can compare it to the workers' floor because, I mean, you're kind of deciding what to do, but there's still a boss above you that tells you what kind of topic you have to work on, you know? So, executive floors, 1 level above, we got human-made masterpieces. I talk about music, movies, artists, art, literature, sports, and so on. So, you're probably in a more higher position if you're on that executive floor. You can probably see the whole city from that place, but you're still not fully on top, you know. You're important, but you're not fully on top. I believe every consumption of human-made masterpieces, so everything on this floor, is a good way of consumption. A good movie is never a waste of time. Neither is good music, good photography, or good literature. But we can still level up the source of inspiration if we move up 1 more floor. We get to the rooftop, so you can overlook almost the whole city, and you got very, very deep sources of inspiration, such as your soul, relationships, deep conversations, spiritual practices, and just life's experiences. I mean, this is a very accurate and simple explanation of what I'm trying to say in this whole book. So I think now you got a good picture of what the next pages are going to be. We got 9 chapters, and we're starting in the executive floors, and on the last 3 chapters we get into the rooftop, you know, into very deep sources of inspiration. Here again, I'm talking about the quality of inspiration. It's all about inspiration. And here, as I said before, we got the chapters: music, movies, artists, paper, sports, fashion, our sky, the night, and you. So the deeper we get, the more spiritual it gets too. Also, this is worth explaining. We got absorbing inspiration on the first 3 chapters, implementing on the next 3, and exploring on the last 3 chapters. So there's different ways of taking in inspiration. So I stated this right here. And again here, the same 3 phases are explained. So here, I'm just saying, small disclaimer, the following 9 chapters are not rigid rules, but rather a guide. So also this book obviously acts as inspiration and not a rule book, you know. Oh, I love this page, honestly. It's the music chapter cover. I worked in some of my favorite artists here. You can see Bennett Coast, Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber here. So yeah, this is the second cover which I made for every chapter. Now we got here, man, I was born in the right generation. I love watching DJ sets, Spotify, and noise cancelling. We got Chris Stassi right here, wearing a London jersey, which is funny to me because this is my artist name. Music always comes first. Just simply means that everything I do, the first thing before is putting on music. Now, here I stated some studies actually why music affects our creativity and why it, for example, improves our mood and reduces anxiety or facilitates creative problem solving. So we got interesting facts, obviously, with music linked to creativity. This is us with music and this is us without. I love this page. Now here I made a small deep dive into the package that comes within the raw audio track. You know, it's not just a song that you click play on Spotify too. It's the audio, obviously, but it's also the cover, the music video, the promotion, and obviously the live performance, which adds more magic to audio tracks in the most cases. Oh, and this is actually a page that I would defend my whole life with. You know, I believe that the overload on content hides the true artists of our generation. Because we see so much, we tend to forget who is really generational, who's really someone that will stay over time and not vanish inside of the broad selection of artists, you know. And I speak about one particular artist, which is Miley Cyrus. I believe she's one of the greatest live performers that I've ever seen in my life. So I wrote about her. We got 6 different performances that I supported by QR codes down here. And honestly, I watched them over and over again. So beautiful to me. She has so much variety in the way she's performing. You know, she can do rock, she can do R&B, slow songs, quick songs, whatever. She's great in it. So obviously, we all know her and she's running in the radio 24/7. But I still believe she isn't talked about enough. She's simply generational and a true artist to me. Now I made quote pages all over the book. It's simply things that I wanted to say because I felt some kind of way. In this case, you can guess what it is about. I put a Spotify QR code down here, which I always like to do because, as I said, music always comes first and it just helps supporting the meaning of every page. Now here I got some personal thoughts because I always like to get my personal thoughts involved in this book, because at the end, you know, it's my book, my thoughts, so why not have a personal opinion here and there. And now we get into the second chapter, which is movies. I worked a lot of months on this chapter, and now here we start off with a quote from Quentin Tarantino. He said, "Sometimes people ask me if I went to film schools. I tell them, no, I went to films." It's a great quote. I can relate to this quote a lot because I never went to university studying editorial design or book design, and I still became an author at 22, you know. I'm not a big fan of universities or art schools or schools in general. I believe the best education is if you do things by yourself and not have a teacher above you. But that's my take. First step into a longer attention span. Obviously, if you spend 2 hours watching a movie, it's more healthy than it is watching 2 hours of TikTok. And now we're back to TikTok. Fast content is the reason why cinemas are dying. I really, really hope that our generation is waking up again and filling up the cinemas, because, you know, it's a movie, a cinema experience is just not replaceable with a Netflix and chill at home, obviously. You know it. Now, what makes a movie special? I asked myself this question and I came up with following pages. Obviously, it's the soundtrack. We got Titanic here, very iconic soundtrack. The characters, I mean, he's hanging as a poster in a lot of people's rooms, so he made the whole movie iconic. It's the colors, it's a subtle art that lays behind the colors. I mean, this may look like a normal scene to you, but it's actually so much more. It's cold colors in the back, shining through the window, warm colors in front, which mirrors the fractured mental state of this character. And, you know, I try to understand. It's Joker, by the way. I gotta be honest though, this movie, Full Adoix, depending on my French, I'm German, so very hard pronouncing this, but I didn't like this movie that much, gotta be honest. I like the first part better. It's the cinematography. You can see on different camera angles who filmed the shots. You know, Quentin Tarantino, again, he's very iconic with his frames. And as we're speaking about framing and cinematography, I wanted to show some frames that really caught my eye when I was watching movies. We got Kill Bill here, Tokyo Drift, Kill Bill again. It's just a beautiful movie. I could do, I guess, 100 pages just about Kill Bill frames. Wolf of Wall Street, Blade Runner, the new version, 2017. And yeah, then I get into the director's angle. Every movie started on a blank page. You never should forget that. And the director is obviously the brain behind the movie. And as I teased to you before, I really adore Quentin Tarantino. He is one of my creative role models, so I wanted to pay tribute to his craft. You know, we look at his past, where he comes from, because he's actually not from a rich childhood. He worked himself up the industry just by himself. He even was a high school dropout. Spent most of his time just working at the movie store, being a stoner, but still absolutely made history with his movies. Most people don't know that he has a rule of just making 10 movies. Currently he's at his 9th movie, and the 10th is set to be released soon. Probably will be a crazy masterpiece. Now I'm speaking about the Tarantino universe. Just movie nerds probably understand what I mean by that. Now here we take a look at the art of doing something differently or being different, and what it has to do with Quentin Tarantino in particular. Now, a quote I really much believe on is, do yourself a favor and live your life like a movie. Obviously, movies tend to enjoy small situations in your day-to-day life more than you do actually in your day-to-day life. And of course, it's hard to fully live in this quote, but I think if you pay attention to it and try to do it from time to time, it definitely helps yourself living a more fulfilled life. Now here I wrote down my favorite movies standing August 2024, so I may update it in the new book, but here, just to name a few: Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Fight Club, Fallen Angels, No Country for Old Men, The Place Beyond the Pines, actually one of my favorite movies. We Are Your Friends, also great. I mean, very obvious takes. I'm not a absolute film nerd, but I really enjoyed watching those movies. And now we head into the artist chapter. I believe I got viral for this chapter a lot actually in the past. Just because I talked about one specific persona. You're gonna see it in a minute. Now here I'm very proud of this quote. Talented artists create art, great artists create stories, timeless artists create worlds. Just simply saying that it's not enough to just create good-looking things. You need to create stories and at the end, obviously, a whole world so people can live in it and really feel your art from all kinds of perspectives and seeing it on different medias, not just on the art you're focusing on, you know? Just take a look at Virgil Abloh. He not just created shoes, he did obviously other types of garments, but he also created one race, different campaigns of marketing, and you just could see his handwriting throughout every kind of media, which made him so influential and powerful. And now this is the page I went viral for a few times. So who are we talking about? Obviously, it is Frank Ocean. He is a huge inspiration for a lot of artists, just because he has such a specific kind of output, you know? He just released a couple of albums a few years ago, and he's still so iconic. And obviously, it's because he's just a generational artist. Yeah, he's very, very talented, but he's also iconic because he's not pushing out an album every few months, you know? He's using silence as a tool. He's very patient with the output he's giving us. And throughout this, he's very unique. He has a very, very strong connection to his fan base. And at the end, we are all craving music from Frank Ocean. And that's why his songs became so iconic over time, because we had to re-listen, and really appreciate what we have to get more out of Frank Ocean. So I really enjoyed writing the book, not just in a monologue, but also speaking to you directly. So I'm asking you, are you an artist? And we talk about how you determine if you're being an artist, or how important it is, for example, to show up every day. I mean, this is a quote that you almost hear every day as soon as you open your phone, showing up every day. But what if you don't even know where you should show up? I saw this being a problem with a lot of my friends. They wanted to work, they wanted to create, but they simply didn't know where. So I came up with a few ideas and a little text that might help finding that kind of place to show up. As you can see, it's like I made goggles here, so it looks like you're searching something. Really like this layout. And now here, as I said, I like a dialogue more than a monologue, so I stated an example here and left some spaces empty so you can fill it out by yourself, apparently. So this is just a graph showing what shapes you, what makes you the person you are today. Obviously things like inner voice, social norms, family traditions, role models, but also the city you're living in, you know? A lot of factors influencing you. Now we're back at a quote page. Art never meant to be exclusive. It's just some of us who forgot to share. And as I'm a professional hater of gatekeeping, here are a few pages about one of the most underrated artists in my opinion. I like this page because it's shouting out artists that I truly believe in. I do even have a tattoo about one of those artists that I'm about to show you. We got Shouting Cowboy here, a house music artist from London, DJ Cinema Quartier Latin. Very, very underrated. I think he's generational too, especially in the lo-fi house scene. And I got a album cover of him tattooed on my left leg. So I'm really, really believing in his craft. And we got Paloma Sound at the end, New York City influence. Yeah. Now we're talking about stealing like an artist. This photo is from a photographer I also very much believe in. He's called Aitor Luc Biblioni from France. Shout out to him. Just this picture alone holds so much depth. I love the colors. I love the garments, and obviously the model is having a perfect look, which makes it look so artsy in some kind of way. Now, stealing like an artist, I'm not gonna explain this term because I guess most of you already know. It has gotten very popular in the past few months on social media. An artist's space is a reflection of their soul. I so much believe in this quote. And now here also a quote that went viral on social media: becoming a creator instead of a consumer. Now, as we finished the artist page, we get into the words and lines, so basically the paper chapter. And now what I did here is I didn't design a real cover. I just let the book speak for itself. So obviously this whole book acts as a cover for the next few pages. And instead of printing a book on those pages, I just let the book work for itself. Now, I believe the creative gym is called a library. You get a universal key to every world you ever wanted to explore. I mean, okay, you get the internet nowadays, but I don't have to explain to you that a book might educate you better than just scrolling or asking ChatGPT real quick. Here I'm showing the worlds you can dive in, and some books, they do have the potential to change your life. I stated 3 books here that influenced me positively. We got How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. I kind of would change this book now because it's a bit of a mainstream choice, but still a good book, you know. And here as well, very basic book, but I mean 2 years ago I wasn't that big into book reading, so pardon me. Of course your brain benefits from reading, and now here there's the 2-page rule, because you know our generation has it very hard with doing long form consumption. I mean, the fact that you're still watching is a proof that you're not really struggling with it, so props on you. But here I'm advising the 2-page rule, which just says read 2 pages a day, and the goal of it is just that you're probably gonna keep reading after page 2 just because you get hooked on the book. Now we transition from reading into journaling, because before you can start reading, someone has to write it, and why not let that someone be you? So, as I said, I really much believe in journaling. You can see how my journals look, and I worked in some pictures of my journals in the past. As you can see here, I was going through kind of a breakup, so I put all my emotions here, and you can see the quote saying, as soon as my head gets too heavy, my journal takes the weight off. So it helps a lot with that. Now, I wanted to make sure that you understand how powerful your sketchbook can be. I stated 10 different reasons why you should do it and why you benefit from doing it. And then we get into the drawing part. Most of you know I really much enjoy drawing, so I get into places that look beautiful and just draw them from my eye. It's a very beautiful practice if you wanna level up your creativity. But we speak about it on the next few pages a bit more in detail. As you can see here, it's a challenge I made in the beginning of 2024. I took 3 months, did 1 page of drawing every day, and I leveled up like crazy. You can see here like a simple 2D drawing to a very, very complex city landscape. So there's definitely big progress visible. And I mean, it's obvious. Again, you draw every day, so you get better at it. Okay. Now it gets over into the sports chapter. I love this cover page. This is actually the kind of graphic design I started with when I first got into Photoshop and everything, you know, college style. I feel like you can kind of see that it has been designed by me because of the way I design it and the way I use color. But I mean, this is the work of a few years, you know, or it just takes time to develop that certain style. We got a symbol for Nadia Comaneci, a famous sports star. Hard work makes it easy. That is my secret. That is why I always win. Good quote, especially if you're someone who's hardworking. This is very easy to relate to. Now, creativity thrives when the body and mind learn to work together. I believe you should always take care of your body, stay fit, so your mind has a better situation to start from, you know? It's easier. And that's why we speak about your toughest opponent is always yourself. This page looks just so good. The layout is so good. This symbol here fits it perfectly, you know? And now millions of eyes focus on one moment, one ball, one player, one match. Oh, I'm so much in love with sports. Watching it is just so beautiful. Of course, doing it even more, but watching the greatest artists in those sports is just magical. And now, what's the only language the whole world understands? For me, it's pretty obvious. It's football. It gets expressed in different kinds of love. You know, you got the burning passion, but we also got the gentle passion. We're comparing like ultras, the hooligan scene, with old Grams on the sideline with a beer. You know, they share the same passion, but it's a different way of love. You know, burning passion, gentle passion. I enjoy those pages a lot. Now here we got a famous German quote actually, which is in den Farben getrennt, in der Sache vereint. Translates to in colors divided, in purpose united. Chelsea fan, Arsenal fan, but they still love each other, you know? Even though they're rivalries, we share the same sport. We love the purpose, you know? Even though we are divided in colors. It's rare, but sometimes sports give us a moment that feels bigger than life. Do I have to explain this one? I guess no. Now here I made another deep dive into a specific person. We spoke about Quentin Tarantino in the movies chapter, and now we got Julian Alfred in the sports chapter. She is apparently the fastest woman on this earth. Back in 2024, I'm not quite sure if she's still the fastest woman, but she was in the Olympics in Paris. She broke the record, and what's so impressive about the story is journey leading up to this major win. She grew up in St. Lucia, a very small island. St. Lucia never won a single gold or a single medal in general. And she did it actually in the most anticipated sport that is known to the Olympics, which is the 100 meters race. So a very special moment, and I was kind of amazed by seeing all those videos occurring on the internet after her win. So I wanted to collect those moments. I again put some QR codes down here so you can rewatch those moments and really feel how special it felt to the communities, to the people in St. Lucia. We got the airport, just a public view in the neighborhood, sports bar, or even the city center. The whole country was rooting for her, and I think this is a moment where you really shed a tear, even though you don't feel that emotional normally, you know. Okay, let's get into the 6th chapter. It is fashion. Now, I'm not a big fan of influencers normally, but in this case, I stated 2 of them because they really inspired my style in the past few months. It's Josephine Joseph and Terrible Till. I guess they're German, from Berlin, but they really live a cool life, looks very aesthetic, and I do enjoy looking at their posts, so I put them in here. I asked myself the question, why we dress, how we dress, and I answered it for you. Now we get into a chapter that is so well put together. I truly love looking at it all the time, because we're taking a look at the last 10 decades, 1920s to 2020s, and we speak about one fashion icon that majorly influenced fashion in those specific decades. We start off with Coco Chanel. We continue with Marlene Dietrich, Christian Dior, Edith Feet, who won 8 Oscars actually, which is just crazy to me. She's also being called Miss Hollywood. Yves Saint Laurent, he was born to be a fashion icon, I believe, especially if your parents are giving you this kind of name, you know. Yves Saint Laurent just had to be an icon. Vivienne Westwood, Cindy Crawford, the first model in this list. Princess Diana, she's an icon. I truly adore her. I think we cannot imagine how important or influential she would have been if she would lived a bit longer. First couple in this list, David and Victoria Beckham. They are just the face of the 2000s, both model and icon in their own ways. Virgil Abloh, rest in peace. Big inspiration, especially when I was a teenager. And the next couple, A$AP Rocky and Rihanna. Now I wanted to get runways in here too. So we talk about the magic behind runway shows. And I also wanted to make sure that you understand fashion. It's not just garments. It's attitude, mood, look, hairstyle, you name it. Now, again, I got my personal take in here too. I got a little teaser of what I want to do in the future. Customizing Carhartt just looks like a fun thing to do. Maybe you will see some in the future. Now, this is the first chapter that gets spiritual. I don't really like this cover, to be honest. It's just too simple. I don't know. I was kind of lazy doing it, probably. Got the sky. And what does our sky teach us about change? Especially if we look at inspiration, it's not constant. It's always changing, but it's also always there if you're paying attention. Now, I believe the science of looking up and out is underrated. Now, if you go hike mountains and you reach the top and look into the horizon, it just gives your body like magically energy. I don't know. It just sparkles up your creativity, but there's actually science behind it. That's what I write about here. Now, isn't this page looking beautiful? Yes, it is. We got different kinds of skies that I just wanted to show, because for us, basically the sky is one single thing, you know, but it still looks so different in so many different kinds of ways, different colors, different shapes. It's just beautiful to look at. We even got magic happening, like the polar lights. Now, what is this? You cannot tell me this is our sky, you know? Lightnings, stars, and even planets made it in here. And now, as I said before, what the sky teaches us about change is actually a lot more than you think, because we can mirror ourselves in the sky, and there are simply lessons written in the clouds. And we're following up with this page. Storms don't erase your stars, they just ask for your patience. You probably heard that quote in a similar way, but in this case it just works so good because I'm talking about the stars, and obviously you don't see the stars when it's storming, but as soon as the sky clears again, you tend to see those sources of inspiration again, you know. And now it gets even more spiritual. We don't talk about a thing, we talk about atmosphere, you know, the night. I think every person got two different faces. The face when the sun is shining, and the face when the sun is going down, so in the night. And this is not just a feeling, this is again proven by very smart people. So I stated some facts in here, but first we dive into the biggest story that I wrote about in this whole book. It's a story about finding what's lost, and this whole story happens during the night. I put some Spotify QR codes down here to support every bit of the story, and it's the longest story, so we're not gonna get into that too much. And here I analyzed the story I just showed you in 3 different ways, because there are basically 3 parts that the main character runs through, and every part of it stands for some kind of symbol that gets explained here, you know. Now here we got comparisons: low, high, stress, creativity, work, payoff, desire, devotion, loser, super, honks, and house. So daily life, nightlife. And as I said, the whole thing is just proven by smart people. There's a deep dive on why the night makes us feel more creative, you know, from survival to self-expression, how darkness shaped the birth of creativity, basically, and why our mind is allowed to wander as soon as the sun sets down. Oof, I don't like this page anymore, to be honest. Even though it looks good on camera, this is just cheap Photoshop. Didn't do a good job here. Now ask yourself this question: does the night reveal you, or does the day hide you? I think it's a cool thing to think about. Some people love the night because it frees them, others fear the night because it reveals them. Following up to the question I just asked you. Now here I left some space for you to fill in. Who would you be if no one was watching? You know, connected to the night, just makes sense. Last chapter, we got you, because no inspiration will ever match the inspiration that is already laying inside of you, you know? So let's take a look at yourself. The brightest star is you, and the path to yourself is never fully visible, shrouded in mist, revealed only step by step as you dare to walk it. such a good quote, makes so much sense, and you should always keep it in your head, because you just have to walk your path, and this will make you smarter than procrastinating hours, you know. So we're trying to understand how your Starry Sky works, how your influences shape your inspiration. Our inner thoughts are the biggest influence, yes, of course. Now, the brightest stars are the ones you choose to see. Again, you can choose what you want to absorb, you know? It's not just that you're forced to get fed by an algorithm. No. You can go outside, draw, read, speak to people, make music, watch good movies, you know? So you choose what you see. Now, because I felt like I want to write about so much more, I took my time on some pages to just mention some stars that didn't made it in here, you know, because I used every source of inspiration as a symbol for a star, you know. So the stars beyond the pages. Again, we got a little mimic to The Place Beyond the Pines, a favorite movie of mine. Your inspiration could be a cigarette. Your inspiration could be love or a heartbreak. Your inspiration could be a character, like Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill. Your inspiration could be a car, obviously. You know, a lot of guys are like this. Explain this one. Your inspiration could also be your soulmate, obviously. I think here the colors just look so beautiful. Also, a comic could be a source of inspiration. And I said it before, no book, no artwork, no film, no song will ever match the inspiration that is already laying inside of you. This is the most important page of the whole book, you know? You have to dig inside yourself to really get the most inspiration out of you. And here, you may remember the first page in my book. It's where I started, and this is where I finished the book. 1 year later, I arrived here, and I couldn't be more proud. This is me. I just had to get myself in here, you know. And so invest in ATL. It's just like Bitcoin 2016. So this is it. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. I hope this book finds its way into your room, onto your coffee table. And if you have any questions towards me, write it down in the comments. I will try to do more videos explaining how I did it, how I printed it, and how I'm selling it. So feel free to ask whatever is on your mind. So thanks for listening. If you're still here, I really, really appreciate. And I guess your attention span is already very good. So you will enjoy reading this even more. Thanks.